Hello, Aldwyn Altuney here, and I'm with the amazing Neni Carolina Chacin from Los Angeles. Welcome, Neni. We have an amazing session for you today, all about success planning for 2021. Happy New Year to you. It is an exciting time right now, and if you have been thinking about planning your year out and haven't done it yet, or maybe you want to get some tips on taking your planning to another level today, then it'll be great for you to stay with us for the whole hour, because we will open it up to questions as well if you have any through this next hour. So a little bit about the amazing Neni. Now, Neni has actually spoken at a few of the Mass Media Tribe meetups that we've had. We met in LA a few years ago at a big conference there, and we actually started chatting around doing selfies together. I was showing her how to do some selfies, and then we just stayed friends, and amazing lady. Now, Neni is an award-winning recording artist. She's a software engineer, a business coach, property investor. She's an author, a speaker, and cancer survivor turned athlete. She left her software engineering job in Boston to live in Paris, where she launched her coaching business. And after the pandemic, she pivoted and moved to Los Angeles to continue growing and serving with her music, coaching, and property investment businesses. And Neni did also perform at the Animal Action Night that we did last year as well, which you can see that replay. If you want to see her singing, she does a lot online with that. And you can see her also on the Animal Action Events Facebook page. So pinned to the top of the page is the 5-hour live stream. We had over 15 performers at that event last year, so you can check that out. And Neni did a great job singing there. Some beautiful songs, including What a Wonderful World. Yes. And it is a beautiful world. And welcome, Neni. So great to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you well. And
thank you so much for this. I'm so honored to serve and continue serving everybody during these incredible times that we're living in. The whole world is united with all different changes, and I'm so honored to share with you success planning, productivity tips so that you can have an amazing 2021. It's really an honor to be your friend. I think the pandemic has brought us closer together. I love that I've been able to use your platform to share some of my knowledge and skills with your audience everywhere in the world, in Australia, in New Zealand, everywhere in the world. And people from my audience have gotten to know you as well. So yeah. I'm really grateful for this pandemic that has brought us closer together.
Yes, a lot of pluses have come out of this pandemic, absolutely. And it's all a matter of what you choose to focus on, right? When the shit hits the fan, when the dramas happen out there and things happen that we can't control, how are you going to be about it? And planning is so crucial. It's like building the foundation of your house moving forward. So if you have some big goals, some New Year's resolutions for this year, then this will be a fantastic episode for you to watch on Media Queen TV. So Neni, can you tell us a little bit about how you go with organizing your day, and is it a challenge for you to plan? Because I know for some people it's kind of it's hard to get their head around planning, you know, and there's many different ways it can be done. So I'd love to hear how you do it, and has it been a challenge for you?
Well, it really depends on what kind of person you are. Thank God I am a planner. So I love planning and organizing. So actually that sits well with me. But there's a lot of my clients, for example, that doesn't sit well with. They like to be spontaneous and open and flowing. And the idea of planning is really challenging for them. So for me, it isn't actually. Like for me, if I have to sit down and make a plan for the week, for the day, for the month, for the year, it's actually exciting. But so I understand that for some people it's not. For me, I tell you why it's exciting for me, because every single time I have sit down and planned a list of things that I want to achieve, they get done. So it's only when you plan, when you have a vision, you can have a vision. But if you don't sit down and plan the task and what needs to be done before that vision turns to reality, then nothing gets done. Because you keep on thinking, overthinking, procrastinating, you don't know the steps. So it's very important to plan. So because in the past I've had success with the planning all my life, then it's a no-brainer. For me, it's exciting because I know it's going to get done if I plan it. So even it started when 1995, when I planned to leave Venezuela to move to the United States permanently. It was a planning and it was done. Same thing. How do I get settled in the United States? How do I launch a recording artist career in the United States, different from Venezuela? You plan, you write it down, and it gets done. Same thing with everything in life, right? So how do I survive cancer? Like, okay, what do I need to research? What do I need to do? Where do I need to go? How do I evaluate the current state to see where I'm going to go? Because that's very important. I think knowing your state, your current state, is the first step, really, because if you don't know where you are, how do you know what is the next step? But if you think you are far ahead, then you're kind of not doing the planning according to your real state. So that's very crucial, really. You have to be a little humble and kind of understand and accept the reality of your condition. And it's okay. It doesn't matter what's happening. Like maybe you lost your job during the pandemic. Maybe you don't like your job now that the pandemic, the job that you have. So if you want to change, it's being honest with yourself and knowing where you are. It gives you a planning for a better situation, more realistic to where you really want to be. So that's in general what the summary, what the challenges are for planning. But the most
Yes.
important thing, I think that alongside with the planning, the thing that I had prepared for you guys is talk about routines, setting up morning routines, night routines, and during the day routines, weekly routines, monthly routines. It's very important because the plans can be executed. Of course, you can schedule your task and everything. But if you don't have a discipline to have routines, then the body kind of diverges into different things. So you will deviate from your plan if you don't have a set routine that you stick to. And you can actually adjust the routine. It doesn't matter. You can adjust your routines, but it's very important to have a routine. Doesn't matter if it's a simple routine at the beginning, more complex later as you get used to it, but the routines go alongside with the planning.
Yes, routines are great. Morning routines are amazing to really set you up for the day. Something I've been doing lately is I've been doing some beach walks and I've been body surfing and getting in the ocean first thing in the morning. And it's just fantastic doing that, or getting to something like yoga, having some meditation time, some time to go inwards and just be grateful, get yourself into gratitude for the day. And when it comes to planning, like I know I take a lot on with what I have going on in life. I'm always, got lots of balls in the air that I'm juggling. And sometimes, you can get in overwhelm if it's all in your head. So brain dumping everything down is really important. Now, some people brain dump into spreadsheets. Some people brain dump into a written diary. Which personally I like to write things down. It's what I like. I know a lot of people on their phones are addicted to their phones nowadays, but I think there is a lot of power in writing down all the things there is to do and then highlighting the most important things for that day, or maybe having 3 priorities for that day. So what do you do, Neni, when you get in overwhelm?
Well, like I said, planning and routines are key. So
yes.
First of all, before getting to overwhelm, make sure you set up a good routine and and define your plan. So you define your plan. If you have a well-defined plan for the day, for a year, for 90 days, for 3 years, the overwhelm feeling will actually definitely slows down because you know what your plan is at a short term and midterm and a long term. Now, it's okay for now not to plan for a long term since we know that the pandemic is causing a lot of changes. But even if you can just plan the week, it'll give you it gives me a lot of sense of control that I know that this week I'm going to do this and I visualize. And then having a routine where I feed myself, my body, my mind, and my soul in the morning and at night, it also calms down the overwhelm. Now I have a bunch of apps and I have a bunch of tools that I do. So, for example, let's say the night routine. If you set up a routine that after the meal, after you have your dinner, you sit down and write in your phone the most important things you're going to tackle tomorrow, and you schedule it, and that's it. And that will alleviate the overwhelm. That's what I do. I set up my whatever task I'm going to do the night before in my phone, either using the reminders or the calendar scheduling. And then the next day will be easy because I already know what I'm going to do the next day. And that is very much calming for the overwhelm, because you know what to do, as opposed to getting up and it's like, okay, what's important today? Oh, what do I have to do? Oh, I have to do this. I have to do that. So if you know the night before, that's very important. The other thing is setting alarms. I have alarms for calming down, making sure, for example, if you have meetings, make sure your meetings allow you for 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after, to kind of transition from one task to the other, from one meeting to the other, or just to kind of recharge mentally, because every single activity like this takes a lot of energy. I have to be intense. I have to give you all that I have. So for that, I know I give all that. And then after that, then I have to breathe, calm down, center, and then go back to my whatever I was doing, whatever I need to do, whatever's in my calendar, or maybe just eat or cook or whatever it needs to be done, right? So that's very important, having a space before and after. I have categorized reminders or to-do list. So if you have your things organized in a way, like what's for sales, what's for home and business, what's for marketing, what's for growing, so that categorizing everything also gives you a sense of control and organization and gives you a peace of mind. Another thing I wanted to share, actually, I had research for you. Where is it?
So separating different areas is a very great
thing. Having a categorized way of handling your to-do list, because sometimes we have all the to-do lists all together, right? And that really doesn't. It's a little messy, and when you have a confused mind, you cannot focus. So having a really clear mind of this is for this is for that. Let me just see.
Yes.
I have, where is it? Yeah. So in terms of your task for the next day, it's important that so for having this clear focus, it's important that you do tasks every day that are for creating more production capability. So this is, some people call it transformational tasks. Some people call it production capability, like Steve Covey from the 7 Habits of the Most Successful People. Some people call it, these are the not urgent but important tasks. So for example, you want to feed yourself during the day and not leave that behind, because if you don't feed yourself in the long run, you're going to be deprived, your health is not going to be taken care of. So it's important to allocate time, even though it doesn't feel urgent, like, oh, I'm not hungry, I can go one more meeting without eating. No, you have to respect your body, your mind, and your soul every single day. So those are things that I give priority. For example, if I feel like I'm too tired, I take a nap. It may delay a task, but it takes care of myself, and I won't be able to be productive or to be any good for anyone if I'm sick. So
you're too tired.
Yeah. So that's very important.
Yes. I quite like naps as well, actually. And there's restorative yoga poses that you can do too. And apparently 20 minutes in a restorative yoga pose can be like 2 hours of sleep as well. So there's things you can do to fast track your relaxation too when you're feeling down. So really tune into your body.
You gave me that pose and it worked. Remember?
Yes.
Last year. Yes. I remember what we were doing or we were preparing for, and you gave me this pose to read. Yes. I was like, I need to recharge for a second, and it worked. It really did work.
Fantastic. Yes. There you go. The restorative yoga poses work. There you go. So check it out. If you wonder what they are, just Google it. You'll find a heap of restorative yoga poses. And if you have any questions about planning, watching this right now, if you're watching it on Media Queen TV on YouTube or on Facebook, please pop them into the comments. Nice to see you, Manzur and Godfred have said beautiful, splendid. Thank you so much for your lovely comments. And we can share your comments as well on screen. So we will be chatting for about another 45 minutes or so if you do have any specific questions around planning for Neni.
So another thing that I wanted to share with you is about automation. Now, as you know, I am the coach for Automate Your Success, right? So automation right now in this online world is key. It will save you so many tasks that you don't have to do. And also will give you it will buy you some time. For example, creating auto replies on your email and your social media messages. That is very it's a simple thing. It might take you a little time to kind of figure out for every single system that you use. For your every email system has a different way to set up the auto replies, so it's not like a standard way. Hotmail has it in one place, Gmail has it another place, and all the different systems have it in a different place. But regardless, find out. This is one of the not important but not urgent tasks that will actually create leads for you, because setting up an auto reply saying thank you for reaching out to us, I will contact you as soon as I can, but meanwhile you can schedule a free consultation with me if you have a service business, or you can send them to your shop, for example, or you can check out my products in this shop online, or you can say, and you can check out my website. You can take them to any of those three, either a schedule, free consultation, a shop, or your website, and then until I get back to you. So that actually saves you time, because maybe by the time you talk to this person again or reply, they've already checked out your services and products, and they'll be a little bit of a warmer client for sales than just a cold person that's reaching out to you, for example. And also lets them know that they're important to you and that you are going to take care of them eventually. So it doesn't leave them with the anxiety that I don't know when they're going to reply. See, because of course, as this pandemic expands and as the work expands, you're going to be full of clients, supposedly, and full of things to do, full of events like these with Aldwyn all the time in interviews. And then you're going to have to tell them, well, hold on, I'm with Aldwyn in the mass media tribe. So you're going to have to automate your replies, right? Another way to automate your task is to do an automatic link for scheduling your meetings with your clients, right? If that's the kind of service that you offer, right? So there's Calendly and there's other types of companies, online websites that you can schedule, construct a link with a set time where they actually can set up a scheduling of your time in your own calendar. So you don't have to talk to them, you don't have to do anything. It'll automatically be set up for your calendar, automatically send you an email notification. They get a link and it's all perfect. You don't have to take. So there's one less thing to do in the admin, because you want to delegate all the admin stuff, right? Initially, if you're a solopreneur or if you're a starting business, right? And there's some other websites called Zapier where you can automate some tasks. So for example, I have an automated Zap that connects my Calendly website with my Zoom account. So I don't have to do anything. I just connected them with the Zap, and automatically my clients, when they want to schedule a free consultation, they get the Zoom link and I just have to show up. See, I don't have to go back and forth. Here's the link, here's this, here's that. Nothing. They schedule my time. Of course, this requires planning. Planning is very important. Requires planning, because you're going to have to make sure that in your calendar you have set up, you have booked, like blocked the times that you're not available. So I have, for example, I have a block in my calendar that says my time, and I have it blocked, from 8 p.m. until 4 a.m. the next day. So of course they cannot, because I have clients from all over the world. I know exactly. They know when the Calendly comes, then it only will take the space that it's in between. So that's important, right? That's planning. So you have to plan, then you have to set up your calendar first, but it actually really, really works. Another thing that can work very well for automation is to link all your social media. So it's very easy. It's very time consuming to start posting on one, on the other, on the other, on the other. But if you link them, which actually they all have a way to link them for free and automatically, they all have a different way. If you want to know more, just contact me and I can help you set it up or whatever. But with Instagram, for example, you can post on Instagram and automatically be posted on Twitter and Facebook, either your profile or your page. And with Zapier, you can actually automate the connection between LinkedIn and Facebook. So you post on 4. So if you link your accounts, you do one social media post, and voila, you have a broadcasted all your social media. And lastly, for automation is the e-billing. If you are used to creating a manual e-bill or a little facture, how do you say that? Like a bill, right? If you send in your invoice, if you send it for a second, I forgot the name. The invoice, the e-bill, like invoice. So when you send it, sometimes you send the invoice to your clients. Maybe you have to build it with your email and everything. PayPal and Payoneer are systems that have very good way to generate invoices. They have recurring invoices, they have links, they have buttons, they have all kinds of things that you can automate for free if you have an account there, which is also free. And that's very useful for clients. And you just put it in there and you send them the invoice through the system, and it's all professional. So you will look very professional and organized and automated.
Great. Fantastic. And you said also that the night before, when you're doing your planning, you actually put notes into your phone. What app do you use for that?
So there are several things that I do at night, but I use basically the main app is the calendar. That every phone has a calendar app, right? So I try to use a really small little note, like a real note, like a little notebook,
Yes.
Let me just move this here. Yeah, I have a little notebook. So on one hand, so this is for last year, for example. This is like my 5, for example. Okay, let's say this one, okay, here. So I'll put the transformational task here and the transactional task here. But this is what I used to do by hand, okay? But now actually I think about it and actually I schedule it in the calendar. So this year, last year, I've been doing it for years, just writing it here. So every day I just have this, okay, like something physical. And it's a small book, it's fine. You don't have to be so fancy, right? But I wanted to schedule, and of course, if you have a meeting, of course you schedule in the calendar regular when the meeting happens. But I've been doing it before I go to bed. I go in my calendar and I write, I have to do this at this time, and schedule it for a time. That's what I do. And then the place where I save all the tasks, like these are the ones for the next day, right? But where I have all my tasks is on the reminders. And if you can see here, I have like to pay, to buy in Boston, home and business, coaching, JT Fox, action items, things I'm learning from my coach, property management, music business, as a writer. You see? And these are all clients. So every single category I will add. So if I think of a task that I need to do, maybe I won't do it tomorrow. I will do it later. I'll just add it here. And then at night, I just check on my list of things like, okay, what can I do tomorrow that is important? So what I've done is I created a new category called Transformational versus Transactional. So replacing this book for a reminder list of in here. So I move it to here. I move it to the category of transactional versus transformational to know that these are the ones I'm going to do. But a to-do list doesn't do anything unless you put it in your calendar. It really is. Like Richard Branson says it, like to-do list can stay the to-do list forever. And unless you schedule it, it won't get done. So that's a very key point. You have to schedule it. It really,
Yes.
Maybe you move it to the next day, but that's okay. Having a little book or having this gives you a little bit of self accountability, and then the next day, that's another thing I wanted to talk about, like have a reflection or evaluation. If you don't, after a week, for example, of doing this, and if you see that you keep on moving one particular task to the next day, to the next day, to the next day, after a week, you saying, man, I've delayed this task for the whole week. What's going on? So you have to be aware, like self-aware, and really humble with yourself and say, why am I procrastinating with this task? So maybe you don't have enough information. Maybe the task is too complicated, or maybe you don't have enough reward when you're going to complete the task. Maybe there's not enough incentive to do the task. There's not a real result that you're going to have from the task. So you have to evaluate it every week. Okay, so maybe this task you want to delegate to someone. Maybe this task you want to even completely eliminate, because it's just wasting your time in your planning, instead of you wanting in your planning or trying to execute another thing that can move you forward. Now, what is the goal? What is the name of this event? Success planning. And what is the goal? Success. So you want to have success. That is the key, success. So if you want to have success, you want to take away all the tasks that don't lead you to success. Yes. So that is just being honest with yourself and being really humble and really being down to earth and saying, okay, like I've been procrastinating on this. I need to get it done, because if I don't get it done, blah, blah, blah happens. Or maybe set up your own reward. Like, so you know what? If I do this task that I don't want to do, I will give myself, well, for me, ice cream. So I decided, for example, that's one of my weaknesses. I was talking to Jillian Michaels in the interview I did with her, and she was saying, if that's really your weakness, try to set it up as a reward, or have a measure, a small amount that you can say, okay, this is it. I am allowed to eat this. So I decided on the weekends only, I will have this reward that I will give myself a little piece of ice cream. So it's an incentive. So whatever you're doing, it's okay. If I do this, I do the ice cream. So I started last year. Well, I had a very nice gift from one of my coaches. He gave me a 5-minute journal. So it's a whole year of 5-minute journal. And so I've been doing that since November, and it's been lovely. Every single day, you write down, what are you grateful for? Like your good news challenge, which I started today, and yes, and the 5-minute journal. You write down, what are you grateful for today? What would make today great? And another question, I can't remember right now, but I feel that it's very simple. It's just 3 questions, and then at night it actually has a reflection, like, what were the 3 things that happened today that were great, and what could you have done better? So that's reflection and an analysis, a measurable analysis of your productivity, of your success, is key to success. So if you don't measure and if you don't evaluate yourself daily and weekly, you don't know that you're adjusting and that you're really reaching your goals. So at the end of the year, a lot of people do retrospect. Okay, how was my year, right? And we say, oh, what did we do last year? Like, wow, I'm reflecting. I learned these 3 things. I learned what are the 3 things, most important things that you learned with the pandemic last year, and what could have you done better if you knew what was happening. Then you apply it to this year. Now, this is like a big 1-year perspective, but what if you apply that for every day? What if you apply it for every week or every month? So I do have these on Sundays. I do sit down and figure out, planning the week ahead. What could I have done better? What didn't work? This is just simple. What worked? What didn't work?
Yes.
Simple. And success planning is about really reflecting on how the plan is going. So if you plan for the day and something didn't work, you say, well, tomorrow I'll do it better this way, or I won't do it that way. And at the end of the week, if you adjust, you will have a successful year. In software engineering, as you know, of course, software engineering a software product or a hardware product requires a lot of planning and a lot of tasks to be done, right? A lot of designing, definition, and then a lot of little pieces have to come together to build this, right?
Yes.
So there, in software engineering in the old times, there was some method called the waterfall, where you would define all the requirements up front of what the end result would be. And then you code and you create the product according to those specifications, and then you have the end product. But sometimes you had like a headphone with two heads. I mean, an iPhone with two heads. And that wasn't even relevant at the time of the finish. So they changed to this method. And for those in software engineers that are listening to this, as you all know, of course, the Agile method. And the Agile method in software is you define for the moment what is good. And you adjust every week the requirements, and you actually kind of code for that. And you don't define the end result. You just define what's good for the short term. And at the end, the customer gets something closer to what they need. So it's the same thing for your life. You are your customer. You are the customer of your life for success, right? So how can you adapt every day to get closer to what you really need tomorrow? Because you know what? You don't know what you don't know.
True.
Right? Yes. You don't know what you don't know. And you don't know that you're actually capable of even something better. You don't even know it. You think, oh, I want this, but maybe actually you don't know that you can have this other thing. Other goals that are bigger, that are different. Doesn't have to be bigger or better. It's just different. Like, for example, when I sold my house in Boston to move to California, I realized that I think I just want to do investments and I don't want to have property of my own anymore. So that goal or dream of having a house, which I had and I fulfilled several times, I owned several properties and I sold them, is no longer my dream. I never thought when I was a child that I was going to say, you know what? I don't have any more a dream, no longer, that I want to own a property. What if I could just rent a property anywhere in the world and just have property investments that give me money? For example, it's a different, I can just switch to a mindset of abundance where you say, well, it's different. I never know. Right? So we don't know what we don't know. And if I planned at the beginning of the year, I need to buy another property because, it's what we know. But now it's like the whole world is at your, how do you say? Your world is your oyster. The world is your oyster. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
So you don't know what you don't know. So be open and just plan short term. Plan short term for the week, for the month, especially during this pandemic. Because we don't know what kind of regulations are going to change. We don't know which countries are going to open. We don't know what kind of requirements they're going to require for us to do or not do.
Yes.
Some businesses can open. Some businesses are not allowed to open. Some businesses have to do this way when they open. Some other business, it's insane and it changes every week. In every city, in every state, in every country. So we have to adapt. And for that, we have to plan weekly. There's no way we can plan for a year in these conditions. We can have some idea, we would like to, but we have to be flexible and not attached to that because anything can happen.
Yes, be committed, not attached, and the future does not necessarily need to be based on your past. So a lot of people have these limiting beliefs based on what they've seen as evidence from the past. The thing is, you can create any kind of future that you want for yourself, right? And in Landmark training, if anyone's done Landmark forum here or any of the Landmark training, they say you can create any future for yourself. Anything is possible, right? Anything is possible in Landmark. And a lot of people are limited from the past. They're limited by what they believe is possible. And so here with 2021, let's start from a blank canvas and create whatever you want. So have certain goals. So I think it's good to have some, say, 1-year goals, even 3-year goals, 5-year goals. Have some goals, but don't be attached, as you say, Neni, to what that's going to look like. And don't worry about the how. Visualize it, feel it. There's a whole law of attraction thing that goes with this too, right?
Absolutely.
Feel yourself in those situations, visualize it, take the relevant actions. Obviously, with law of attraction, you need to have actions and be very, very clear on what you want. A lot of people are not clear on what they want. So be very clear and specific about what you want so you can manifest it faster as well.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard for a lot. I see from the different clients, sometimes the younger crowd, they don't know exactly what they want yet. They're a little bit confused, So for those young generations that cannot be specific because they're really confused because they don't know themselves, the first thing that you can do is just try to investigate who you are.
Yes.
So if you don't know, if you're not clear, if you're not specific, you don't know how to be specific, actually then get to know yourself. And getting to know yourself will be leading you into clues of what you really want. So that's my advice for planning for success for the younger generations who don't really know what their goals. Because sometimes we say, "Oh, this is how we do the goals. What do this? What do this?" And they don't know. They don't know. So what will be for them if they don't know really what their goals is at 3 years or 10 years or 1 year even? They don't really know. They're confused. Like, do I go to college with this in a Zoom class? Do I run a business? Like, I don't know. Like they can have a goal, but the goal doesn't mean anything to them. Then you have that issue. Know yourself. So try to find your purpose. Try to find what moves you, what motivates you, what are your characteristics, what are you good at, what are you excelling, what do you have experience at, and what do you tend to gravitate towards. And maybe the combination of all that stuff will lead you to a purpose and a kind of business. And like you said, like the past, maybe we are attached to conventional ways of business. Oh, maybe this business, or to be a doctor, to be this, to be that. But maybe there are new kind of careers that are going to come up that did not exist before, right? Like copywriting, content creators, gamers, game programming, right? All that stuff, like augmented reality filter designers. You see, all these things, like virtual background designers. So all these careers, maybe there's something that is going to be new that we don't know really because it's never been there in the past. So now there are new careers that are coming up because of this new situation, because of a pandemic, because an online, 100% online world with no live events. Then what kind of new careers may happen? So you have to be open, and all of a sudden, maybe you want to be a virtual mass media tribe representative, worldwide, which is a new career. And then all the media outlets are not going to be on TV anymore. It's going to be like this. Every single person is launching their channel online to produce content and producing a wide variety of content. So variety TV shows don't exist anymore because we have them online. So Aldwyn has a TV show, and it's a new way of TV show. And then what is the career to train on how to do these kinds of TV shows? Maybe the director. And there's going to be a director who figures out all the production, the media production for these kind of events, and it'll be something incredibly much better quality. So imagine there like you said, that there's really no limit to what can happen, anything. And we don't know. And now with people going to the moon and Mars, and who knows, all kinds of careers will come up as well. So electricity, solar panels, new energy, all kinds of new careers. So be open.
Yes, we're definitely in changing times. And while I don't think traditional media is going anywhere fast, like, we still do have some studio TV shows, we still have radio. What's happening now is that everything's being, streamed a lot more now, streamed through to social media. There's a lot more feedback being asked by traditional media outlets. They're asking for feedback through Twitter and Facebook. So it's a lot more interactive now, the whole media world, and a lot more people starting their own podcasts, their own online TV shows. And, it still blows me away, Neni, when I think, Facebook only started in 2004, and out of the 7.8 billion people on the planet, 3.8 billion people are active social media users. It still blows. That's half the world's population of active social media users just in the last 16 years or so. So, if you don't like technology or don't like social media, the fact is people are going to Google you if they're looking to do business with you. So, it's important that you do have a presence online, and particularly now, as there's a lot of online scammers as well, is that, people are specifically going to be looking to see who they can trust, and to trust you, they need to know you and like you and see things like testimonials and reviews and all of that sort of thing about you. And, it's very important, if you're taking on a big game in life, to plan and to be very organized as much as possible for what you want and what you want to create. And there is so much opportunity now with the online world. It really is a huge thing. And, some people through COVID have hopped on the bandwagon and they've launched businesses online and they're booming, and, whereas others are out still buying toilet paper, so how are you going to be in any moment, about what's going on, and what do you want to create? What is your, if money wasn't an issue, what would you love to be doing with your day? Because, Neni, at the end of the day, a third of people die by the age of 65. That's another stat that blows me away. And, if you're watching this right now, how old are you right now? And what is it that you want to create for your future, so that you leave a legacy for your family, for your friends, so that you make an impact in the world? Because it is possible. And if it's to be, it's up to me, as they say, right?
Yes.
If it's to be, it's up to you. As Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. So what sort of change do you want to see, and how can you start to make it happen or collaborate, right? A lot of JVs, a lot of joint ventures, a lot of co-creations are happening now too, where people are coming together and collaborating like we are from across the world. I'm on the Gold Coast in Australia, you're in LA, in America, and here we are collaborating. And we've had several events over the last year where we've done this, Neni, and it's been wonderful working with you. I feel so connected with you, even though we are on the other side of the world. And it's just wonderful that you can build these connections through technology. And I think it's important that we embrace that, as much as we may not like it. And everything at first, any new technology is going to be difficult at first until you get your head around it, right? Everything is hard until it becomes easy, right? So it's just having that patience with yourself, patience with technology, to move through things and to learn things, so that you once you automate things, it might take a little while to get that going initially. Once you automate it, you will save yourself so much time and money down the track as well. And investing, I think investing in yourself is really important too, Neni, and that's something we've both done a lot of. Investing in coaches, mentors, so that you can be the best you can be. And also your environment is crucial as well. What kind of people are you hanging out with? Have you got negative people all around you, or have you got, positive people that are going to lift you up and encourage you to play a bigger game in life? Because it is possible for you. Whatever you want is possible for you. And it starts with the planning, with building the foundation, like building the foundation for your house, building the foundation for your goals and what you want to create.
Absolutely. I think two key things that you just said. One, these are new times. And I think it's just like when the personal computer came out. Even though we already have the personal computer, we think we're all advanced. But in fact, this is just a change as big as that. You have to get on the social media wagon. And I remember when I was, when the whole personal computing started, I was a trainer for the big companies that would hire me to train their personnel how to use a mouse. Can you imagine? Like now we have a Dutch finger, or we just have a phone where we do this, right? But they didn't know, the old people didn't know how to click and release. I remember even my dad, when I was in college studying software engineering, and the Word, like the actual software Word came out, and he's a doctor, and he used to type the results of his medical exams in a typewriter. And when I was explaining to him how to use Word, and he says, well, how do I make it go to the next line? I'm like, you don't have to. It already goes down. And that was like, it blew his mind that he didn't have to do carriage return. He didn't have to go like click. I don't know if anybody's used the typewriter before. Like, you go to the next line, and you have to plan for that. But now the software does it for you. You have, that was a time, like in the 80s, right? And now we are in a new time where it's social media exposure, and we have to interact the way we do communications. And with the whole world pandemic, it's accentuated the need for social media and social communication, online communication, because that's the only way we can connect. That's the only way we can reach out. I've just moved to a new city, and there's no way a stranger, will talk to me in the street. It's like I've tried many times. I've tried group setups. I have joined group classes. Nobody wants to socialize unless they know you. So what really worked is I had to go into the app, an app called Nextdoor, put the city, and then expose myself and did an ad. Pretty much, I did a video saying, "This is me. I'm new to the city. I want to meet new people. Hit me in the comments." Send me your phone number and let's meet. And guess what? It worked. So I did that in the Facebook groups. I did that in the Nextdoor app, and it's working. And also, you can also do sales and like that. So if you don't get on that online social interaction, you're going to be pretty much dead in the water for meeting new people in this era. So you have to learn. I know it's hard. I know it's awkward. It's just as awkward as those old people that I used to train. I used to hold their hand. I do have a mouse here. I used to hold their hand. Imagine this mouse is not really in. And then try to tell them, click here, and release it. And it's just really hard for them. So I know this is hard for you guys, but you have to get on it. Maybe start with one social media. If this isn't Facebook, just start with Facebook. If you don't want Facebook, start with Instant. If you don't want that, there's all kinds, right? There's library.tv. If you don't want the standard media, this lbry.tv. Odyssey is called. Let me type it here can I type something in the comments or not?
And there's BitChute is great as well, and they have a lot of content that YouTube have been censoring. Very interesting, the amount of censorship that's been happening on Facebook and YouTube around things like vaccinations and 5G, etc.
If you're against that, then try to find an alternative. That there are tons of alternatives. There's Parler, actually, with freedom of expression as well. It's like similar to Facebook, but freedom of expression. So there's all kinds of social media apps, and also other apps, which, for example, there's Kitchen Stories, which doesn't have to be a social media like we all know. Kitchen Stories is an app where people like you and I will cook something at home and have a great recipe and will post it. These are my ingredients, these are my pictures, and then they share it. And actually the app already has a way to set up so that you can go shopping and then say, okay, I want to make this recipe, and it gives you the shopping list and everything. So it's fantastic. So it doesn't have to be Facebook or Twitter or any of the standard ones, but it's something online. These are all free apps. So it's important that you get in. And the other thing that you said, you talked about that. And the last thing, what was the last thing you were saying?
Leaving a legacy.
The environment, yes. About the environment.
The environment, yes.
Yes. So social media is going to become your new environment, but having in a physical environment and online environment that is positive and conducive to your growth for success, where you have people that are similar in the views with you, that it's actually encouraging you, that can do accountability, partners, you can, all that. There are groups, there are different ways. Just reach out to me if you want to talk to me or anything like that. My social media is right there, Neni, Chacin, everywhere. Or you can go to my website, automateyoursuccesscoaching.com, and you can just reach out to me and just have a conversation, and I can help you out. But having a group of real people like us, or call Aldwyn, and say, hey, I would like some advice on media. How can I get exposure? How can I expand my brand through your mass media tribe? Like, how does it work? Just to understand how positive people that are open, that are knowledgeable, somebody that's more knowledgeable than you, that is so important. So, and anybody that is questioning your actions and wanting to get an explanation of why your way or why what you have to do is going to be successful, you have to eliminate from your life. You have to really fire the negative people. Fire everything. I don't care if it's your family or not, if your friends from a long time, if it's your neighbors, anything. You have to fire all your negative people. There's no way around it. I know it's painful, and sometimes I think I mentioned it in one of my posts that you don't have, don't go back when you're successful. Oh yeah, I was listening to this class, the Mega Success number 32, one of these football players, big football players. He was saying, when you're successful, don't go back to your old neighborhood that saw you, that they were, filled with drugs or filled in a bad situation, to go show off that how successful you are. You don't have to go back, because that's a bad environment. Just move forward. I know the ego is really interesting and really wants us to do certain things for our own satisfaction, but you have to let go of the ego, and you have to move forward for your growth, because your growth is our growth. If you grow, the world grows, and you have a responsibility for the rest of humanity who is not as grown as you, and then just continue growing so you can be an example, be a role model, and then then with your success, away from that negativity, can be propagating to the rest of the world.
Yes, absolutely. I love what you said about the environment. Negative people in your life, it's important to let them go with love, right? So definitely don't hold on to resentment or anything like that. People are just where they're at because that's where they choose to be at right now, right? Everything's a choice, a moment by moment choice. And, some people are up for personal development and living amazing lives, and some are quite happy to not do that, and each to their own. I'm all about inspiring people to live lives they love, because the biggest regret that people have on their deathbed is not living a life true to themselves and living a life that someone else wants them to live. So what is the kind of life that you want to create? And how could you work with people who are going to inspire you and encourage you, have positive people around you who you can role model or bounce ideas off, or who can help you on that journey? So important. Your environment is really critical, and you can't save everyone out there. And as much as we may like to help others, it's great to help and contribute, but when it gets to a point where you're hanging out with someone who's constantly negative, just notice the energy that you feel from people. Are you feeling drained after you speak to someone, or are you feeling uplifted and inspired? And it's the uplifted and inspired people that I love hanging out with. And sure, we all have our low moments at times, but you start to see a pattern over time when you're hanging out with certain people.
And it's not that you're going to be 0, 0, 0 with negative people. It's more about an off balance, right? Say, how many much more positive people do you have in your life? Because maybe you can't fire your mom, you can't fire your dad, you can't fire your brothers and sisters, right? You really can't fire completely your family, right? For example, if they are difficult in your life, but you can have a moment where they have a space, and then you have 10 more people that are uplifting. So that little moment of negativity is not going to matter as much, because you're filled with all these positive people during the day. So that is the thing, like, if you can't, then just have more of the positive than the negative, and then manage it.
Yes. And I think, with success planning, it's so important to look at all the different areas of your life, to look after your health, to look after your, what you eat, for example. And okay, it's okay to reward yourself with a bit of ice cream here and there, but what are you doing the majority of the time? Are you exercising? Are you having good whole foods that are going to nourish you? How do you feel after you have, like, I know with bread, if I have bread, I feel very heavy, I get bloated, so I've cut out carbs out of my diet now, and I feel amazing because of that. So notice how you feel after you eat certain foods, and really look after yourself on that physical level, on an emotional level, to spiritual level, a mental level. There's all these different levels to look at when we're looking at success planning. And as you say, you know, plan certain things in your day. You need to plan time for exercise, plan time to eat well, etc. Be conscious of what you do and how you do it, and how things feel in every moment. So important to be conscious. So many people run around unconscious out there, right? Running around just not thinking. So
and one thing I wanted to mention is, like, I know that, like, we all live in different situations, meaning we have different homes, we have different living situations. And I know that the daily living is also part of your success. Like, you have to clean your house, you have to cook, you have to groom yourself as well. You have to take care of the plants in your house, and you have to put gas in your car if you're traveling, if you're moving around to get some food, right? So all these things actually can also be managed and planned if you know exactly what to do. And you can also think about delegating. Like, what can you delegate? Like, if you have a family, live with a family, then what can you delegate for each? Say, listen, family, let's delegate. These are all the things we have to do in the house. Let's share the load, because sometimes the mothers have all the bulk of the responsibility of the house. But now in the pandemic, where you have a family and then you have 3 kids at home because all of them are doing Zoom school, then you can share the task. Like, this is the house, we're all living here, we have to share the task. So I remember going to Germany. Of course, as you know, Germany is is a country with a lot of left-brainers, organizers and planners, right? So I remember visiting a friend, and they are mother and dad, and they had 2 children. So one was my friend, and they had a big calendar in the entry hallway of the house, where every family member was putting all the appointments written down with a marker that they had during the week. It was a big planning calendar of the week, and so every family member knew the appointments that the family was going to have for that week. So if I needed mom to take me to this place where I know that she's having a doctor appointment, so she's not going to be at home, or is she going to be available to go pick up this food? No, she's not, because she's meeting this friend somewhere else. I mean, this, of course, in the pandemic, things are changing, but I remember seeing an amazing organization and planning of this family in the middle of a little town, but they had a huge calendar, a weekly calendar in the entrance, and everybody could see what everybody was going to do. So if you're in a place where your household has multiple members, you can also plan like this to kind of share. Like, if you don't, it's not something digital, but everything is in there. You just go there and see where everybody, I'm going to be in class from this time to this time, and everybody put in this big calendar their activities, and it really seemed to be working. Everybody respected, so that is very good. And you have boundaries, so then now you know not to make any noise, or maybe you know that you cannot count them to go with you to do an errand. So it's very, very important, the interaction. Now, I am by myself, I don't have the issue, but I'm sure that there are many people out there with this issue.
I think that's a great idea. I think having something physically you can look at is brilliant. And then if you have, technology failures, you're not going to rely on that technology in that case. So I actually like to use a mix of technology and diaries, and hard copy diaries and notebooks to do my systems. So whatever system you use, there are so many different options out there, so many different amazing apps as well. Whatever you use, it needs to work for you. And it needs to be something you're going to look at once you actually make note of it, right? So it's a matter of, I guess, building success habits around your planning and noticing what it is that's worked for you in the past. How do you like to operate? Do you like to write things down, or do you like to type them into a system? Some people do shared Google calendars as well. They write all their you could do a physical one, as you mentioned, Neni, as the German people did, or you can have it in an online calendar where everyone has a look that way. And I mean, particularly in business, if you have virtual assistants or people working in other parts of the world, obviously you will need to do a technology calendar, right? A Google calendar or something like that.
Yes, I have. I share with my personal assistant the reminders, some of the reminder categories, so that they can share, because maybe I don't want them to see all of it, but I have a particular reminder category where I add them. I have other apps like Trello, Trello, where I do project management. It's a free app, and it's a free service where you can follow projects, and I share that with the people, collaborators or personal assistant that I'm working with. Sure, the calendars can be shared. Google Docs can be in the Google Drives, can be shared to share documents, and what else you can do?
Asana is another one. Asana is a good project management tool. ClickUp is another one that's a lot of people using now as well.
Yeah, I've been using an app that feels like it's like a hybrid, because I feel like it's a hybrid because you can write. It's like a notebook that you can write on, and you can have it. Has a login, so you can have it in both your tablet as well as your phone. And in this one, it's like having notebooks. Oh, can you see? Yeah. So you have different notebooks, and I can just write. Let me see. For example, this is the before bed. I have a template for before bed. Let me see. Yeah. So for example, this is. Yep. Yeah. So this is the before bed template. So you can write things. Let me see. So this has a checkbox, of things, evening routine, for example. And so I can do the checkbox, okay. And then I write down some things, and I can just write down with my finger, you see? And, just write it down. In fact, they sell these little pens. This one, actually, I bought in Germany for €1.
Oh, wow.
It's a little pen. It's a little rubber pen, works with any iPad or anything.
Okay.
You just basically, type up, you write down. I also have another one that is like a pen. It's more sophisticated, but it cost me a little more. I bought it in Target in the US. But actually, I can write very well here. Like it's just like a pen. It really is just like a pen.
Yeah, amazing.
So I'm going to show you. It's just like a pen.
Very cool.
So it's a stylus, and it works for your phone, and it works for your iPad, and actually it's a little good for bacteria now that we're talking about health, because you're not touching your face all the time, just touching this and then pretty much interacting, and you can actually, it works, so you can have this to do things, to open and click and go places and type and write. So you can also have, if you don't want to type, because the keyboards are too, you can just have a stylus or something and have GoodNotes. I use GoodNotes. It's called GoodNotes 5, and it's pretty nice. And then I can just write, just like as if it were a document, and that I really like for writing notes. And that way it's digital, it's there, and it's local. If you lose the internet, it's still there. It's not stored in the cloud. I mean, it does store the backup, so you can have it in multiple devices, but you have it local in your device as well. So that's a different thing. Another app that I use for productivity, for those who know me, I love plants. I love flowers. I love them. Yes. I love all the nature. So I love to have plants in my house. And I have many plants, many pots with many different plants. In fact, I have 54 plants. I'm ashamed of this. Is my home. I'm hoarding plants. No, I have, you can't really see them, but it actually turns out to be 54. So the reason I know the number, I wasn't counting them. I just have the front garden, the back garden, and the ones indoors. But there's a free app called Planta, Planta. And basically, I was having some sort of schedule, like every other day I water them. And then the indoor ones every Friday. Very simple schedule. But I realized that some of them needed a different way of taking care. Some of them needed more water, less water. I'm like, this is too confusing. And some of them were kind of suffering from overwatering. So, but they're doing all very well. And I realized this app called Planta, which tells you more about the plant. It tells you, oh, the topsoil needs to be dry before you actually water it again. And so it really has a schedule, and basically you just log in all your plants, you find the name, you scan it like a picture, and it finds the plant, and it tells you all the watering schedule, the misting schedule, fertilizing, cutting, pruning, anything you have to do. So I don't have to worry anymore. Like
Wow.
10 days, 2 days, 4 days, each plant has a different schedule. It's like having 54 children. That means different care. There are actually 54 different plants, like different kinds.
Wow.
So, well, not exactly. So I have like maybe 2 pots that are the same, or 2 pansy,
Right.
three pansy pots and whatever. But basically, it just every morning I wake up, and after I feed myself, I feed my plants.
Beautiful.
And then the app tells me, what are these, miss these, and I just go through them, and they're actually, I think they're happier, definitely happier. So because I feel like they're getting the right nutrition at the right time. So there are many production, you just have to go in the whatever device you have, Android, whatever device you have, and go into the store for apps and explore. If you actually, this is something, growing is very important, right? So how do you grow? Every morning, my morning routine includes growing in all levels. So it doesn't hurt. Every morning, you can just take half an hour and browse. This is a non-urgent, but important task. You see? Look, just review all the tasks, all the apps that are out there that are like trending. And you'd be surprised all the things that you find out. You say, oh, look, this is new. They just came out with this app that is this, and a lot of people do it. So what I do is I go through all the automation stuff, and I study, and I evaluate things. I take half an hour, 1 hour, and sometimes I do it before going to bed because it's kind of relaxing. I'm just looking, and I may download the app. I test it, and if I don't like it, I delete it right away. But sometimes I found something like this one. I was looking, and I found this one, Planta. Oh my God, it's just making my life easier. So you never know. So if you grow every day, you find a point, find a time so that you can go online and Google marketing, and then what's trending in marketing, and review a bunch of YouTube videos. Or go to TikTok. You'd be surprised. I've learned so much on TikTok that you have no idea. I have several accounts for people that are doing tax optimization, how to create better e-shops, how to do better marketing online, Instagram marketing, how to do particular things for TikTok or editing or video editing. It's fantastic. And I learn, these TikTok videos take 1 minute. So imagine you take 15 minutes, you learn 15 things. You don't have to look at the dancing people and the ridiculous people, but there are actually accounts that train how to make money, how to do this, how to do marketing, how to do editing, especially in this online world. And if you go to the latest trending apps like TikTok, you'll find what the new generation is doing. And guess what? We are going to serve to the new generation. The old generation is done. They're already doing their thing. They have their ways. They're just passing, right, to the new stuff. How are we going to do? How are we going to be of service? How are we going to be relevant in 5 years, in 10 years? Well, guess what? TikTok.
TikTok is booming.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier transformational tasks versus transactional tasks. So for those who didn't quite get that, what's an example of one of each of those?
Well, definitely feeding yourself is a transformational task. So if you don't feed yourself, right, then you cannot look at, so let's say scheduling your meals for the week will be a transformational task.
Right.
Cooking that day, it's a transactional task.
Right.
So if you say, I'm going to make my lunch, that's transactional. But
Yes.
you say, I'm going to plan my lunches for the week, that's transformational. So production capability versus production, or important and not urgent versus not important, not urgent and important.
Yes.
So those are the same name for the three.
Yes.
If you look at the analogy from the 7 Habits of the Most Successful People, he talks about the golden goose, right? And the golden goose, if you don't feed it every day, it will stop creating the golden egg. So a transformational task will be to feed the golden goose every day, right? To make sure that it's fed, that it's taken care of. But a transactional task would be to collect the egg. So you can collect the eggs every day. You have to do that, right? To have to collect the golden egg to increase your abundance, your gold, right? You're going to make more gold, so you need to collect the eggs every single day. But if you don't feed the goose, the eggs are going to stop being created. So
Yes.
but you are the goose. So
Yes.
if you don't take care of the things that is going to make you produce more, that's what is called production capability. So production capability are the things that you need to do to keep producing, to being capable of producing the output of your work. So for example, if I don't research about the apps, I don't have a way to tell you that there's a new app called Planta. So I have to keep on feeding myself to be able to give you. But if I give you every day all the knowledge, there's a point where I'm not going to have any more knowledge to share. And then I have to stop and share, or I'm going to be empty, right? No food.
Yes.
So it's going to be a space where I won't have any information to share. But I cannot do that, right? I cannot take a break and say, okay, now I need to study again what's going on, and I'll get back to you in a week. If I don't engage for a week, I lose my audience.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's important to feed. So those transactional tasks are the things that are going to keep you going. Anything that is for later, that's going to keep you producing. And that is very, very important that you take care at least 5 of them a day. So new sales, have new phone calls for new clients every single day. If you don't do that, then even if you're working with a current client, after whatever those clients, the contract finishes, after you're done with them, you need to start over again. So again, you have that lull and that period where you're dry.
Yes.
So, it's like your car. You have to do the maintenance, schedule maintenance. Otherwise, you're going to be without a car. Take it to the garage, wait for it. You won't be able to drive until that car is serviced, right? So you have to keep on servicing. Those transactional tasks are about that. Like keep on doing things that feed you. Maybe meet new people. Maybe it's find new clients for sales. Maybe it's learning something new about a topic that you need to grow. Maybe sales, maybe marketing, maybe branding, maybe not. Maybe it's just computers or media, like what is trending in media. I don't know. Maybe something to take care of my hair. Maybe my hair is getting dry and I don't know. And it's going to get drier and drier. I can't wait until it gets drier. I have to stop and research.
Yes.
And find out what are good so that I can use it every day, right? So those are transformational things that are going to transform your life and your business.
Beautiful. And being open to that, because we never learn less, right? As long as we're open, we never learn less. We do need to wrap up shortly, Neni. We've been chatting for over an hour, which is very easy with you. I love chatting with you. And hello to everyone who has joined us. Thank you so much for joining us live, or if you're watching the replay, Amit, Henry, good to see you. Another friend I met in the US. Great to see you here. Glad you caught another one of the lives. Beautiful. Neni, any final words in wrapping up? Any final tips on success planning, and how can we connect with you as well?
Yeah, so simple is better.
Yes.
No mess, no clutter. That is a final tip, just simple. The simple things are the things that are going to be easy for you to follow, the things that are going to be easy for you to continue doing. So if you plan something, don't plan something too complicated that you can't really follow up with. If you're planning for success, plan something simple that it's understandable by you and anybody that works with you, and try to have as less clutter and mess around your life and your tasks as you can. Like simplicity, clear spaces, just very simple things. Think about what you're going to wear for the next day, so that the next day you don't have to think about what you're going to wear. Just wake up, put your suits, and go. I've been actually repeating a lot of my wardrobe. I've been wearing this for 3 days already. And it's okay. On purpose, like it's okay. I wear it. It looks nice, and I just think, and then when it gets dirty, I wash it. I change it. That's okay. And just simple, just one less thing to think about. Like you wear the same thing, and then you go and wash the next thing. That's simple. And you can find me on all social media as Neni Chacin, like you see down there, at Neni Chacin on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, everything. My full name is Neni Carolina Chacin. But if you do Neni Chacin, you can definitely find me anywhere: TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok as well, LinkedIn, Twitch, Library, lbry.tv, everywhere. BitChute. No, I'm not in BitChute. Everywhere. So you can find me on all those apps, and you can definitely connect with me. You can go to automateyoursuccesscoaching.com website, and you can just message me from any platform, and we can schedule a free consultation if you have some questions, and I'll be happy to hear you, to hear whatever challenge you have and help you whenever you. This is going to be a roller coaster year as well, so I'm here for you. I'm here to serve. Thank you so much, Aldwyn, for having me in your Mass Media Tribe interview, and to share with your audience and my audience as well.
Thank you so much, Neni. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. And absolutely, the simple things in life are often the best. And sometimes the less choices you have, the easier it is to make a choice, right? Yeah. So I know someone, for example, who just had blue underwear, right? They just had the one color, and they didn't have to think about what color underwear they're going to wear, right? As an example. So just keep things very, very simple for yourself, and use systems that are going to work for you. Any questions, reach out to us on social media. Thank you once again, Neni. It's been an absolute pleasure to be with you. And as we mentioned earlier, we do have the Global Good News Challenge for January 2021 happening right now. You can start a 7-day Facebook Live challenge anytime between now and January 10. Okay. And all it is you just share your name, what you do, 3 things you're grateful for, and a piece of good news. And the whole idea is to lift people's spirits, reduce depression, anxiety, and suicide rates out there, and make a bigger difference in the world. And a lot of people are using it to promote what they're up to for their good news. It can be anything about yourself or someone else. All the details are pinned to the top of the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page. And I love your good news challenges, Neni, and I know how much you love it too, doing the challenges. You've done quite a few of them now. And it was fantastic to hear. So I really miss the challenges when they're not happening. So every month we have different challenges, and 7 days for January. So get involved. It's amazing how great you feel when you share gratitude and you share it on a video. It's very, very powerful. So how has it been for you, Neni? Just briefly, how has it been for you doing the Good News Challenges?
Oh my God. It's actually, I miss it when I don't do it. I feel like when the 7-day stop or 4-day stop or whatever time constraint you put, I'm like, I'm waking up and I'm not going to do it feels so sad. I'm like, I want to do it. So it gives me a motivation in the morning to wake. I do it usually in the morning as soon as my day starts. So it gives me a motivation to feel positive and to feel that things are going to come out well during the day. For some reason, it does really set me up for a better day than the days that I don't do it. I also feel like I'm giving a little piece of excitement to people, and that gives me also some sort of reward. egotistic reward, I would say, and it just really makes me feel happy. It makes me feel happy every time I can share. If I have a specific audience that I know that is listening, then I feel much better. I feel heard. I feel making a difference. I feel that I'm contributing to the world. And I really thank you and appreciate you so much for doing that, because it really makes a difference in my life. And I really like it. So I do it. I've been doing it every for the last few months. So
brilliant. I'm just popping the link in there in the chat now for anyone who does want to participate in the Global Good News Challenge. That's brilliant, Neni. Thank you so much for participating. And of course, you can do a Good News Challenge every single day if you want. I just set challenges so that, some people are daunted thinking, every day to do it every day. But, just do something, just share gratitude, whether you're sharing it on a challenge like this or sharing it, writing it down or sharing with your friends. Share more gratitude. Love and gratitude are the highest vibrations you will feel in life. And if you want success, it's important to get into love and gratitude as much as possible. Love and gratitude for yourself, acknowledging yourself, and love and gratitude for others, and for all the challenges which have made you stronger, for everything that has brought you to this point. It's absolutely perfect. There's nothing wrong with you, okay? You're perfect just as you are, and you can create any future you want for yourself. So please reach out if you want any support whatsoever with that. Join in the Global Good News Challenge. I will be doing my day 2 today, so you can check that out. Check out the Facebook page. Everyone who does a Global Good News Challenge at the moment, I'm putting into the Global Good News Challenge private group as well, so you can come along in there and get extra support as well. Thank you once again.
Is that a different one from the Love Your Life group?
Loving Life, yes, it's a different one to Loving Life. I actually have a Global Good News Challenge group as well, just for those who do the Good News Challenges. There is a Loving Life group as well, which you can do your Facebook Live challenge in the group if you don't want to do it on your personal profile. But all the details, as I say, are linked on that page, Global Good News Challenge Facebook page. Pinned to the top, you'll see all the details on how to get involved. Please hashtag Global Good News Challenge if you're doing it, so we can share it also to the Global Good News Challenge page. Keep spreading love, abundance, gratitude. Here's to your success, a fantastic 2021. Happy New Year to you, and anything at all is possible for you. Any final words, Neni, before you wrap up?
Well, thank you. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for commenting and sharing and liking and supporting Aldwyn and supporting me. So I thank you, everybody. It's just lots of love, lots of thank yous. I'm full of gratitude, and I'm full of, I'm very proud of being your friend and honored. And I just send love and light, and thank yous for everybody watching and in the replay and live.
Thank you so much, Neni. Mwah. Lots of love to you, and hopefully we'll meet again either in Australia or in LA. Can't wait to meet you again in person as well, catch up and actually have a real hug, not a virtual hug. So, keep up the amazing work. Thank you so much. Henry Tucker says, Happy New Year to you, my friend. Happy New Year, Henry. Thank you so much for joining us. Another amazing man in the US. I love America, so much about American people I miss you guys. Lots of love from Australia, and for anywhere you're joining us in the world. Blessings to you for a magnificent life and a magnificent 2021. Signing out now, Aldwyn, Altuney, Neni, Carolina, Chacin. We will see you again soon. Make sure you subscribe to Media Queen TV if you haven't already, on YouTube as well. Check out the other 500 plus videos on there. You'll love them. So much content. We'll keep you busy all day just watching content there. Check it out. So many more inspiring interviews over there as well. Thank you, Neni. Bye for now. Bye.